welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am bringing you Yarnie update number 24. This is my knitting podcast-like show where I talk to you about all of the things that I have made, usually in the month prior. This episode is coming a little later than normal. I've just been very busy. Work has been very stressful, and I've been dealing with quite a bit of pain in my arms and hands lately. So I haven't really been able to put in as many stitches as I would like. So that kind of slowed down progress, and being that this episode is a little later, I do have a little bit more to show you today. So I have some works in progress. I have some I have a finished item, and then I have some acquisitions to show you. So let's jump into it. So right off the bat, I have in my Charlie Brown sock bag, which is from Utterly Adorable Knits. If you've been with me for a while, you know a lot of my sock bags come from her. In this bag is a cast-on that is new since I've talked to you last, and that is my Independence Day socks, or my Independent socks. So it looks something... So it looks something like this. I am in a different area than you'd seen me last, because this area is actually in direct line of my air cooler, and therefore it is a lot more comfortable to podcast in. So let me put this on a sock blocker for you. While I am doing that, I will mention to you that my background here is an item that I crocheted myself. It is my Lula throw. I think I crocheted it maybe 5 years ago or so. It's served me well, and I think it's appropriate to have some kind of, handmade item for my background. But anyway, back to my Independence Day sock. This is what it looks like. It is a self-striping sock yarn from Cascade Heritage Prints in the Independence colorway. I did the cuff, heel, and toe in Ice Yarns in just their plain, I think it's called Simple Sock. I do have the skeins here. So it's Cascade Heritage Prints, and the colorway is Independence, but I don't see it on this ball band. It is color 52, if you can see that. So this is the yarn that I am using for the foot, or the main body of the sock, and then I'm just using some leftover Ice Yarns solid sock in a navy, and this does not have any colorway name or anything on it. It's just a simple navy solid sock yarn, 75-25, and the Cascade Heritage Prints is also 75-25. I really like using Cascade Heritage. I've never used the Prints line before, but I'm very happy with how this turned out. I did do what's known as the Insta-Thought heel. This is Roxanne Richardson's kind of technique for knitting an afterthought heel, but knitting it while you're knitting the sock. So basically I did this top down cuff, and then I did my leg to the length that I like, and then I cast on some stitches on provisional yarn and did the afterthought heel in here, bound off here, and then went back and continued in the round over here all the way down to the toe. So that is what I did. I did Kate Jones's umbrella heel on this, and then I also did my lightning toe for the toe. The lightning toe is a technique that I have put into my own pattern, which I'm trying to get released. But I haven't gotten any bites for test knitters, so I'm a little delayed on that, and I'm kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do, because I've been asking for test knitters for a couple months now, and nobody has signed up to do that. So unfortunately, I'm a little stuck at the moment, but I would really like to get my design out there, especially this lightning toe. It's nothing extraordinary, but I'm enjoying working it since I had dotted up. And yeah, so this is the first project that is currently on my needles. I have a ton of socks on the needles. It is summer sock camp time. If you didn't notice, I do have my summer sock camp shirt on. And I have not yet finished a pair for summer sock camp. Those are my first entry to summer sock camp. I do have the second sock already started. You can see there's not much on there. There's just the cuff and a little bit of leg. I am working these on 9-inch circular needles, which is something that I've been toying with for a while. I really think that it was because of these that I was having so much problems with my arms and my hands. In the last month, I tend to, and I know this, I tend to really tense up when I'm working on a 9-inch circular, and I want to work on that. I want to make myself relax and better my technique with them, because they're so convenient for working plain socks in the round. And the plain socks in the round work up so fast on these. I don't know. So obviously, because I was having so much pain in my hands and arms, I stopped working on this project, and that's why it wasn't done for 4th of July. But I do want to get back to this soon and work on my technique on this, because I would like to utilize this technique more in the future. But yeah, so I am using a Chalgu 9-inch metal sock needle, 2.25 millimeter for that. Basically, I use this throughout the leg, and then when I did the heel and the toe, I pulled out a 24-inch 2.25 millimeter, and I did magic loop for that. I just find that to be the most convenient way to do heels and toes when doing a 9-inch circular sock. So yeah, this is my first summer sock camp sock, which I'm hoping to get done relatively soon. Like I said, for me, working on a 9-inch circular is pretty swift, but I just have to work on my technique a little bit in order to be able to utilize that more. Next up, I have my monthly Christmas socks. I have been trying to work a pair of Christmas socks every month. I am not very successful. I'm usually behind, and that is the case for June as well. So I have my Christmas socks in this project bag, which is a Christmas project bag from Pineapple Yarn. I had got this as part of her 2019 Advent calendar. This was an extra in that, and it's the perfect bag for my Christmas socks. So in here are my Yeti Goes to Whoville socks, and that is because the yarn I am using is Yeti Goes to Whoville by Lolo Did It. So let me just pull that out to show you right now. Skein of yarn looks like this. This is on her plush sock base. I was mistaken. This is on her original base. So I kind of go back and forth between her original base and her plush sock base. When I first started buying from Lolo Did It, I bought a lot of her original base, and that's just because it's original to her store. But I had bought a few skeins of the plush sock, like in my second or third order, I think, from her, just because those particular skeins were the ones that were on sale, and I fell in love with that. So I do tend to buy either the original or the plush, depending on what's available, because as you know, with her limited edition colorways, sometimes the base can go out of stock. So it doesn't matter to me. I'll either get the plush sock or the original. Usually one of those are in stock, so I haven't yet come up with a problem on ordering, but I do enjoy both of those bases from her shop. And then for heels and toes, I am using this skein, which you had seen in my acquisition section. I think, was it the last Yarnie update or the Yarnie update before? I think it was the last Yarnie update. This is Lucky on her plush sock base. So I have decided that these two would be my yarn choices for my June pair of Christmas socks. I am taking part in the Hippo for the holidays knit along that she's running right now. That has now changed to a quarterly knit along. It used to be an annual thing. Now it is a quarterly thing, and in order to join in, you have to have bought, I believe it is a Hippo for holidays colorway within the month prior to when the new quarter starts. So I am in the summer quarter cal because I did order a Hippo for spring in my last order from her, or the order before, because I don't think it was this last order. I do make quite a few orders from her. But I do have one sock finished, and it looks like this. Let me get you up a little closer. So this is the Yeti Goes to Whoville with the Lucky on the toe and heel. I did a plain slip stitch heel and my lightning toe here. Again, this sock design is Socks for Dumbledore by the Crazy Sock Lady, or Kay Litton. And let me see if I can turn this around for you. So it'll probably be easier for me to show you without. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of a 3 triangle kind of design with cross stitches. She calls them crosses. They're just 1 by 1 cables and some twisted stitches over here on the sides, and then it's just plain in the back. I really wasn't sure how I was gonna like this. When I first started knitting it up, I thought, oh my goodness, that is the wrong pattern to be working with this yarn, but you know, I kind of like it. The more I knit on it, the more I liked it, and so I'm pretty happy with these socks right now. So I do have one sock done. I do have the second sock cast on, and it is here. You can see I am past the heel, and I am just working down the foot at the moment. I have about 20 stitches on the sole, so that's about a little under half of what I need for my foot. So looking really good. I decided that for my Christmas socks, a 45 stitch leg is probably best, considering I'd like it to be a little bit higher up my leg when it's cold. I don't normally like to wear longer socks, but when it's cold I will, and especially whenever we get back to going to the office, because I am still working from home. These will be nice to wear under my dress slacks. So this is where I am with that. Again, still need to get on my July pair, which I'm not sure which one that's going to be yet. If you've seen my Christmas yarn stash video, which I put up last year around Christmas time, and you would like to see a specific skein knit up, let me know down in the comments below, because that would be really helpful. And I will link the video down in the description box below in case you haven't seen it yet. So that is my second work in progress. Next up is in my Krampus project bag from Leading Men Fiber Arts. I did work up a pair of Christmas socks in this colorway. I just adore their Krampus colorway. I also made my daughter a pair of socks in the same colorway with the leftovers after I had worked my pair, and so we pretty much used up all of that yarn. I do have a little bit left for, you know, fixing holes or whatever, but in this bag is my Comfort Fade cardigan. So the last time I showed this to you, I believe I was just finishing sleeve number 1. So you can see here, and as soon as I take this out and start fiddling with it, mohair flies. So sleeve number 1, I believe I had just finished fading in the last color, which is Murder at the Vicarage, and had the cuff to do, and so that was done. And then I am well on my way on the second sleeve, so I am here. So I am about where I was on the last sleeve the last time I talked to you. Not quite. I have just started to add in Murder in the Vicarage, and so let me pull out what I have as far as that color so that you can see. So this is Murder at the Vicarage by Bakery Bears Yarn. This was dyed by Kay Jones from the Bakery Bears podcast. She no longer dyes yarn, but this is one of the special colorways that she had done as a pre-order for patrons. And at the time, I was a patron. I was a very new patron. I am still a patron. I am very much enjoying my patronship of their channel. I know you hear me talk about them a lot, but I just really, really enjoy the content that they put out. So Murder at the Vicarage has been sitting in my stash since 2019, I believe. And since the color scheme of this sweater worked perfectly with that, I thought it was about time to put it to good use. So I am very happy with how this looks so far, and it's upside down. With my relocated filming space, I can't put up my little bust figure to put this on, but I am really liking how it looks. So this is the top here, and up here is After All This Time from Bakery Bear Yarns, into the Breakfast Club by Lolo Did It, into Cherry Blossoms by Lolo Did It, into Violet Veil by Little Skein in the Big Wool, which was a skein from my Kindred Spirits sock club, which I have subscribed to from her. That is a every other month sock club. So every other month she sends a skein that was inspired by Anne of Green Gables, or the series of books by Ellen Montgomery, which I'm a very big fan of the Sullivan Entertainment miniseries, and so I had to join that club. I am working my way through reading that series, actually. The 4th book in that series is on my TBR, or to be read, list for the month. If you didn't know, I do also have a book and manga channel, which is also linked down in the description box below. If you're interested in that type of content and would like to see what kinds of things I read or things I am planning to read every month, definitely check out the channel down below. I do have a TBR game going, and I also read manga, so there's manga content there, and yeah. So if you don't see me here, I'm posting over there, just so you know. But that is that. And then Murder at the Vicarage down at the bottom. So I basically just have a little bit more sleeves to go, and then I have to do the huge shawl collar that goes around the front. Now, I am a little bit concerned about the amount of yarn that I have left, because when I finished with my Violet Veil skein, it is very, very tiny. So let me just show you the skeins that I have left while we are here. So this is how much I have left of after all this time. This is the skein that I have the most of because it was the smallest amount of yarn to go into this because it's just at the top over here. So then I have the Breakfast Club, which compared to after all this time is much different in size. So there's that. But I was aware that the second color was going to be the one that you use the most of, so that didn't concern me too much. Then this is how much I have left of Cherry Blossom, which feels like it's actually less than the Breakfast Club, but I don't know if that's because it's wound a little bit looser or if that's because I actually do have less. And then this is how much I have left of Violet Veil. And I'm still not quite done using it because I am still fading it in with the Murder at the Vicarage. But I may have to scour my shelves, my stash, for a supplemental yarn. I do have one that just came in that might work, which is a little bit of a spoiler for my acquisition section, but we shall see how that goes. I do have plenty of mohair left, so I'm not concerned about that, but I do want to get this done because I was doing it in conjunction for the Grocery Girls knit along, which I didn't really enter. I was kind of just using their knit along as inspiration for me because I really wanted to do a comfort fade cardi. It has been an item that has been on my want to make list for a while, and I just thought now was the perfect time to do it since they were doing a knit along. I didn't necessarily want to enter for prizes, but Happy Knits, who I'll link down in the description box below, is also running a cardigan cal, and when she said she was going to run that cal, I thought, you know what, the universe is telling me to go ahead and do the Comfort Fade cardi. So I pulled out these skeins from Stash and jumped in, and so I would like to get this done to enter for her cal, which ends at the end of the month. Being that I only have the cuff or a little bit more than the cuff, and the shawl collar, I should have more than enough time to get all of that done. But I will be honest and say that with how hot the temperature has been lately, I've just been not inspired to pick this up. Especially with the mohair, it does get a little bit sticky. This is my first time really working with mohair, so this is my first experience working with it in general, and it has been getting sticky. But I do have a kind of large plastic container that's round that I will usually use to put this in while I'm knitting on it, so it's not like all over my lap as like a blanket when I'm knitting on it during the summertime. So I think I will go ahead and start utilizing that now. I really need to get on this. I haven't touched it in a couple weeks actually. Since the end of June, I haven't touched this, so I do want to get this one done and dusted, if you know what I mean. I'm so close. I know I probably think I'm closer than I am, considering it's a shawl collar, and I really haven't done one of those before, but I know there's a lot of fabric, but it really is just back and forth knitting, so I don't think it should take me that long. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think it's going to take me that long. But let me finish putting this away, and I think I have one more work in progress to share with you. So I actually have two more works in progress to share with you, but I'm going to share the other work in progress with you when I share my acquisitions, because that cast on is very, very new, and the skein that I used to cast it on just came in the mail yesterday. So I think it's better to show that to you with acquisitions. So I'm going to show you one more work in progress. This is a rather new acquisition as well. It is in my Muppets bag by Utterly Adorable Knits again. I do have lots of her bags. But this is my V-Back tee by Jamie Hoffman. Did I forget to tell you that the Comfort Fade Cardi was by Andrew Mowry? I might have done that. But all of the information is down in the description box below. The links to the project pages below, which have all of the information on it, go to my blog and not to Ravelry. So if you have issues with Ravelry or you just don't want to go on to Ravelry, all of the information is on my specific blog posts for that. I do duplicate my Ravelry project pages onto my blog just for that reason. So if you're interested in seeing all of the patterns and everything like that, I do try to link to places outside of Ravelry if I can find it. So yeah, definitely check out all the links down in the description box below. But anyway, getting back to this project, this is my V-Back tee. So I am working it in Yeti Goes to Jurassic Park from Lolo Did It. This is in her original base. And I had previously ordered this when she first had it out a couple years ago. I had bought it just the one skein in the original base. And so she recently brought it back for a short amount of time. I decided to go ahead and pick up a few more skeins so that I could make myself this V-Back tee. And actually, the speckling on my very first skein is much more abundant than the speckling she does now. So I've decided to use that one as my kind of last skein. But I do have two skeins going at the moment. I am alternating skeins because it is hand-dyed yarn. So I have this much. This green is also Lolo Did It. It's her plush sock base in the color Shamrock, which are leftovers from the winter's frost socks that I showed you last time. Spoiler alert, those are coming up in finished items, so you'll be able to see those. But I thought this green would look really great with the Yeti Goes to Jurassic Park yarn, and so that's kind of what it looks like right now. You can see that I have the V. You can see that I have the V going here. And so my yarn is getting all tied up around my microphone, so I will need to fix that before we move forward. And my battery is flashing, so let me fix that and I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Everything's plugged in. Microphone has been unwound from the yarn cakes, but V-Back tee. So this particular project calls for a tubular cast on. So you can see that I did do the tubular cast on. This is my second time doing a tubular cast on. The first time I had done one was for the Ridgeback pullover, which is by Melanie Asato. I think I've talked about that on a project-specific blog, so I'll link that down in the description box below as well. But tubular cast-ons and I don't get along on the first or second tries. When I did the Ridgeback pullover, I had to do the tubular cast on 3 times before it was right. And with that project, there was over 300 stitches for the cast on, so that was a learning experience. With this one, it wasn't so bad. It was only 120 something, I think. But the first time I did it, it was great. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. And then one of the stitches slipped off the needle and went all the way down. And I don't know how to fix that on a tubular cast on. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll try a different cast on, because the instructions say that you can. So I tried the cable cast on, thinking that would give it a more structured look, because I was a little concerned about how large the neckline was looking. And I didn't like how that looked, so I pulled that out again. So I redid the tubular cast on. Everything looks great, and I was able to get to this point, which is not very far. But I am, like I said, alternating skeins. I'm using the jogless join technique by Grace over at Babel's Traveling Yarns. I'll link that video down in the description box below as well. It is the first time I have tried that technique. So far, so good. I am a little bit concerned on how I'm going to do that when I get to the point where I'm trying to alternate skeins by the V, because there are some increases going on there. But I am excited for this. I also thought that having the green up by the neckline would be a little bit better for me, because this color I don't think it does very much for my skin tone, and it's pretty close to my skin tone as well, and without a lot of speckling. There's basically just this color, and so I thought having that pop of green up by my neck, let me turn this around. I thought having that pop of green up by the neck would be a nice color for me. So yeah, that is my V-back tee, and that completes all of my works in progress. This is my newest cast on. I've only had this cast on since the beginning of July, and so I think this is going to be a nice project to work on when the Olympics are on in a little bit. Because it's pretty much plain knitting, as well as my comfort fade cardie. That's also just knits and pearls. This is just knits, and so I think both of those projects are going to be great for me to work on while I'm watching the Olympics. I've actually had great success working on projects during the Olympics, the last few rounds of the Olympics, and so I'm looking forward to not only the Olympics, but having a completed tee and cardigan, possibly by the end of July. So let me put this away, and then we'll move on to my one finished item, and then straight on into acquisitions. So like I said, my finished item are my Winter's Frost socks. This design is by This Handmade Life. It is a free pattern, and I believe it is only on Ravelry. I can't remember, but you can check it out on my link down in the description box below to my project page. But this is my May pair of Christmas socks. The yarn that I used for the body was Hippo for Christmas. This was one that I bought in 2018. From Lolo Did It on her plush sock base, and then, like I had mentioned a little earlier, this is the Shamrock on the plush sock base as well from Lolo Did It for the heels and toes. So this was actually the first time I had done the Insta-Thought heel technique from Roxanne Richardson, and I liked it so much, that's why I used it on the independent socks. So let me put one of these down so that I can get a little bit closer for you. So that is what it looks like. It's just a simple lace design. I did do these top down, 1x1 rib. Kay Jones's. umbrella heel. Trying not to cover my mouth when I talk to you. And then the her umbrella toe as well. And so I think this one's probably easier to show. And so I'm really happy with how these look. I did these on my 2.25 I did these on my 2.25 Addy squared flexi flips. I think they're called the flexi flips, and not the crazy trios, but they're the square ones. And I really enjoyed them. They were much easier for me to use than the Haya Flyers. I do like the Addy ones better. Even the normal flexi flips I like better because they're not as sharp or pointy, and the Addy needle itself is a lot longer when you're doing the flexible DPNs. If you still think that the Addy flexi flips are too short of a needle for you to grab onto while you're knitting, definitely check out the squared version because those needles are much longer than the normal flexi flips. And I just found that the ease of holding those was so much better for me. But I think my gauge changed a little bit because this sock width definitely looks a lot wider than I normally have my socks. Even just comparing it to the Independence Day sock, it does seem a lot wider. But I am doing the Independence socks on 9-inch circular, and like I said, I tend to be a lot tenser, and therefore my gauge is a lot tighter. But I did try these on. They fit fine. There's no big gaps or anything in the leg while I'm wearing it. And so, yeah, I'm still very happy with how this turned out. And like I said, my first try with that Insta-Thought heel technique. And I think it might be one that I use more often. It is a little bit fiddly, but I don't know if doing that Insta-Thought heel versus cutting in is more fiddly for me. I've only done the cutting in one time, so I should try that out more often too. But I'm very happy to have another pair of Christmas socks off the needle. Like I said, these were my May pair. You saw my June pair. I still need to cast on my July pair. Not very successful with doing my monthly Christmas socks, but we'll see. I do have some vacation coming up at the end of the month, which I'll talk to you about a little later. So maybe I'll be able to catch up. But this is my only finished item since I talked to you last. Let's move on into acquisitions. So like I told you, I did have one more work in progress to share with you, but I literally cast these on 15 minutes after midnight today. It is July 11th when I am filming this for you. It is the start of Shark Week, which also means it is the start of Sock Week. Sock Week is a sock knitting event that is hosted by Nitty Natty. Again, link down in the description box below. I first heard about Sock Week last year. Last year it was my first time participating, and it was a blast. And basically all you are striving to do is complete one sock during the week. She gives you all of these tips. There was a little Instagram picture that showed you, okay, you need to be here on day 1, you need to be here on day 2, and really broke it down so that you could achieve the goal of finishing your one knit sock by the end of the week. And I was able to do that. Not only that, I finished a second sock during the week, and so I had a finished pair for the end of the month, which was great. It's really motivating, and it was a load of fun to see all of the socks everybody was doing. Lots of people pushed themselves to finish an entire pair during the week, and hats off to you, because I've only done that once since I've been knitting. It's definitely takes a lot of determination to get that done, and I definitely don't have that in me this year, but I did want to participate. And I had seen this particular yarn that I had ordered for my sock week sock in like mid-June, and I thought, oh my gosh, I have to have that, and hopefully it'll come in time. It did come in just yesterday, and so I'm housing the project in this homemade bag that my mom made for me from some leftover Hawaiian fabric scrap fabric that she had lying around. And this is how much I have. So I did cast on and just did a couple rows. You can see that I am doing it on 2 circular needles because I did want to try a different technique, and because it is still summer sock camp, I thought it would not be a more appropriate time to try another technique, because that's what summer sock camp's all about, learning and trying different techniques to make socks with. So the yarn that I am using for that and that you've seen is this lovely skein. This is Yarn Cafe Creations Biscotti sock in her Tipsy Shark base, or Tipsy Shark colorway, Biscotti sock base. I ordered the My Little Pony Summer Advent Calendar last year, so it was 2020. It was a Christmas in July, Minty's first Christmas or something like that was the theme. So My Little Pony, but I held on to it and opened it in December, so you can see all of those openings in my Vlogmas videos. But I have been kind of stalking her shop because her and her daughter, who is Tristan from Dragon Horde Yarns, they put out a Harry Potter Advent calendar every year, and because I had bought the My Little Pony Advent last year, I thought it wouldn't be appropriate for me to get both because finances. So I abstained, even though Goblet of Fire is my favorite book. I just didn't jump on that train. And so this year, when I was thinking about ordering Advent calendars, I kept an eye out on Christy's shop, and I ended up ordering from her. So, spoiler alert for the end of the year, I do have the Harry Potter Year 5 Advent calendar coming to me. I am super excited. I love watching everybody's Advent calendar openings during Vlogmas, and yeah, so I'll hopefully be bringing you some Advent calendar openings again this year. But because I've been stalking her Instagram page for when the pre-orders for those Advent calendars were going up, I started to see more and more of her Instagram posts, which, as Instagram does, the algorithm and all of that. And so I had seen that she had put up this colorway in her shop. It's a new one, I believe, and Tipsy Shark. I mean, I just had to have it for my Shark Week, Sock Week project. And so this came in the mail yesterday. I cast it on right after midnight like you're supposed to. And so I'm actually going to be working an original design out of that one. I have jotted down an idea, and so I'm hoping to bring that idea through to fruition this week. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure how my design will work. if it'll work at all, but I'm going to give it a go and hopefully come out with an awesome pair or an awesome sock by the end of the week. So I am going to use a contrasting heel and toe. This is not a new acquisition, but you have seen it already. It was in my Lolo Did It acquisition section from, I believe, the last Yarnie update. So this is her, I think it's plush sock. Let me just check that. Yes, it is her plush sock. So this is plush sock from Lolo Did It in the colorway Anduin, and I believe that is a lake or a river in Lord of the Rings, and I thought it just went perfectly with the Tipsy Shark. So let me see if I can get that in a little better. But there are just some flecks of dark teal in the Tipsy Shark that I thought would go nicely with Anduin, and so these are the two yarns that I will be using for my Shark Week sock. Now, I don't have a subscription to Discovery Channel, and I don't have cable, but we always find new and exciting shark documentaries on YouTube. In fact, the Discovery Channel has a YouTube channel where they'll show little snippets from their Shark Week content. So I still do get some Shark Week content. I just don't get the whole show. But I do have a subscription to Disney Plus, and they have the National Geographic channel, which also has some shark documentaries on there. There are other shark documentaries that are starting to come up on my YouTube feed because, again, algorithm. So we've been watching those, and I just have been enjoying all of the Sharky content. So with my Tipsy Shark yarn, Christy had some Christmas yarn up in her store at the same time, and since I want to still make, Christmas socks for myself, I thought, why not? Yarn doesn't like to travel on its own, so I ordered 2 more skeins from her. I got this one, which is Jelly Wreath, again on her biscotti sock base. Which is a 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon blend. And then I also got this one, which is reindeer corn. And I just thought that was really fun. Again, on her biscotti sock base. And so those will go along with the final skein that I got at the end of my advent calendar last year. And so now I have 3 skeins from Yarn Cafe Creations to do Christmas socks. Then I was talking to you earlier about my Kindred Spirits sock club, which I subscribe to from Little Skein and the Big Wool, and so I got my yarn for this round, and that is this one, which is Hester Gray's Garden, which is inspired by Anne of Ingleside, I think that's where we see Hester Gray's Garden for the first time. I could be mistaken. It could be an Anne of Avonlea, but I definitely know that this was a prominent place mentioned in Anne of Ingleside. And I think if I need extra yarn for my Comfort Fake Hardy, this will work well. It is just a light tonal gray with specks of color. This is on her smooth sock base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. So the last skein that I have to share with you is the Anime Club from Hawaii Bazaar, and the theme for this skein was Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, and I got the sock set like I normally do. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and these colors are just gorgeous. I did not order her May skein, her June skein. This is the May skein. The June skein was Dragon Ball Z, and there are classic colors for Dragon Ball Z, and I knew I wouldn't like it. Once I saw the spoiler, because she does post a spoiler on her Instagram for what the actual skeins end up looking like after they've all been shipped and received by the customers, I was very right not to purchase the Dragon Ball Z one, because it was definitely the colors that I thought it was going to be. Very bright orange and yellow with a navy, or a royalish navy mini skein. So she hasn't put up her July Anime Club yet. I'm not sure if she's taking a break. I have been stalking her page to see if and when that one goes up, because I have really been enjoying ordering these skeins from her. But that is pretty much all I have to share with you today. So if you are only here for the Yarnie content, that is all that I have for you today. I hope to see you next time. Hopefully it'll be within the next 3 weeks or so. I really want to get back onto monthly type schedule, though I have been playing around with doing videos when I have a finished item instead of doing a monthly thing. Let me know if you have a preference. If I do videos when I have a finished item as opposed to waiting for the month end wrap up, there might be more videos. It really does depend on my pain issues in my hands and arms. But yeah, if you have a preference of whether or not you'd like me to keep with this monthly video theme, or if you'd rather me post whenever I have a finished item, let me know that down in the comments below. But like I said, that's all for the Yarnie content. If you're leaving now, thanks for spending a little bit of time with me, and I will catch you on the next one. If you're sticking around for a little bit of a chat, then I'm glad that you are sticking around. As far as things going on in my life, nothing much has changed. I'm still working from home as of right now, like I mentioned earlier. I do have some vacation time coming up at the end of the month, so I am taking 2 weeks off, actually during the Olympics. So I do have, my normal vacation hours that I get allotted every year, because I am a full-time salaried worker, and I never ever take my vacation up completely. So I usually have days that roll over. Within the last year or so, there has been a big push by management to get us to take more of our vacation than we do and not have so much rollover. And so last year I kind of got scolded for not taking more of my vacation days, and so I decided to go ahead and take a couple weeks at the end of July. A few years ago, when my daughter was still in high school, she was part of a clogging team, and so there was a clogging competition that we would always participate in at the end of July. So I normally would take vacation around this time of year, but since she's graduated and has stopped dancing, I stopped taking those vacation days. And in hindsight, I probably should have just continued to take them, because it's an annual, like, traditional thing for me to take vacation then, and I find that it's easier to get approved to take vacation when it's something that you do every year. So I also take 2 weeks around Thanksgiving because I just need that rejuvenation time for myself. December and January are the busiest months for my desk at my office, and so I always like to take that period of 2 weeks around Thanksgiving before December starts, or at the beginning of December, to just get my stress level down, get focused and not think about the office before I'm like working all of these overtime hours and just 10,000 things coming at me at one time. So I do have a long-standing vacation set in November, but to date I have only taken a week of vacation. So that's normal for me. I normally like to take most of my vacation towards the end of the year, just in case, something happens and I need to have that vacation time to take. I'm always concerned that if I use up my vacation at the beginning of the year, if something bad happens at the end of the year, I'm not going to have that time to take off. But, my boss has been very good about if I need it to take it in the past. And now that we are with a bigger company, our company did get sold to a larger company. Things are different. My boss is still my boss, so normally if I need things, he can get them for me as far as, exceptions for vacations and things. I've been fortunate that I have not been denied vacation to date, but, when you work for a bigger company, it does get scary, being that they are trying to get us to take more of our vacation days, though. I had no problems getting this time off. So that was a big, long thing to say that I do have some vacation time coming to me, and I am looking forward to taking it because work has just been very stressful. It's been the most stressful than ever. I think the entire time I've been working in my job, I have been working for my particular employer for over 18 years now, which is mind-blowing to me. It doesn't feel like I've been working for them for that long, but it's been that long. And the work has never been this stressful for me. I don't know what it is. Last year it wasn't too bad, but this year has it's just one thing after another. I'll clear my inbox of like 10 emails, and then all of a sudden 20 more come in, and I don't know what it is, but it has been stressful, and so I really need to take this time off, and I'm looking forward to it. Also because the Olympics are going to be on, or they're scheduled to be on while I'm on vacation. I purposefully put my vacation during that time because I like to stay up and watch the Olympics coverage, past midnight or whatever, and I don't want to have to worry about getting up early and working the next day. And so I think it's going to be a load of fun. I've got projects that I'm looking forward to working on during that time. My in real life manga club that I hosted last year and the year prior, which stopped meeting because everything shut down, is coming back for the first time this month. So I'm looking forward to seeing if the regular members from before are going to be returning and conversing with them about manga again, or seeing new faces and conversing with new people about manga, because I do read quite a bit of it, and it's just nice to talk about things you read in general with other people in real life or on the internet or any way I can get it, which is why I also have my other channel. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be my first real big venture out into the world since things have shut down. I am a happy clam at home. I don't really go out much. I never really did prior to everything happening within the last year, and so I've just been a happy clam, sitting at home, knitting, reading, watching television. We recently finished watching Leverage, the first series. Once we heard that the reboot was coming out, we finished up the 2 seasons that we still hadn't watched, and so we have now done that, and I've started watching Leverage Redemption, and I'm really enjoying that as well. So that's pretty much all that we have been doing. I've been keeping myself busy with knitting when I can, watching television, and reading a whole bunch of books, and participating in lots of readathons. Again, if you're interested in seeing what types of things I'm reading or what kind of reading challenges I'm participating in, definitely check out my book and manga channel. Like I said, when I'm not posting here, I am posting on that channel, so there's actually a lot more content there than there is here. But that's pretty much all I have to talk about today. Because I haven't sat with you in a while, this episode is much longer than previous episodes, but thanks for spending some time with me today. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite purchase in the last month has been, or the most favorite project that you enjoyed working on during the last month has been, because I'd really love to know. And that will pretty much do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.